The LCZ Broadcasting Company and your favorite commercials bring you The Adventures of Brick Benson, Ace Detective.
Halo, everybody, halo. Halo is the shampoo that glorifies your hair. So halo, everybody, halo. For softer, lively curls and brighter, sparkling hair. So hello, everybody, halo. Halo shampoo, halo.
Yeah, my name's Benson, Brick Benson. That's what the sign on my office window says. Brick Benson, Ace Detective for hire. I used to be a real police detective until things went off the skids one night when I was working the late shift on Bunko Squad. Things were quiet as they usually are on Bunko Detail because there hasn't been a case of Bunko since Prohibition, and no one remembered what Bunko was. Around 3 a.m. I was getting tired of tossing crumpled paper balls into the wastebasket, and I needed a nap. Things went sideways when I figured it would be okay to borrow the spare keys to Chief Detective O'Malley's beach house from his desk drawer. The chief and his wife are supposed to be on vacation in Hawaii. Imagine my surprise when I bumped into O'Malley and his little trophy wife engaged in family playtime in his living room. It turned out they weren't leaving until noon. So now I'm working as a gumshoe on the waterfront in Fort Myers Beach. But down here you gotta watch your step and you gotta watch your back at the same time, because for sure someone is gonna try to trip you up or stab you in the back. Earning a living is hard and dangerous, but I do okay keeping the ends together. I also rent boats and hand out fishing maps that I make up to make those ends meet, even though I've never fished in Florida. I don't get a lot of repeat business. But I don't care. I hate boats, fishing, and the beach, because it's all covered with sand and it gets into every crevice on my body. I especially hate the seawater because it tastes like pea water, and with a double shot of shark urine to boot. I'm an old Kentucky boy. I like good old Kentucky lake water. It has that earthy flavor of horse poop and regular fish urine. I closed the shop early and I came home to relax and listen to my mentor, Jack Benny, on the radio, who just happens to be the finest violin player I've heard outside of Harlan County, Kentucky. And then I was going to read a new book I just picked up. It wasn't a bad book if you like stories about bear families and a child who breaks into their house and eats their porridge, whatever the heck that is. I was just getting comfortable when the door to my apartment opened and the place began to get kind of crowded. But from where I sat, that crowd looked pretty good.
Good evening.
She sauntered in, moving rhythmically from side to side, like an oscillating, undulating electric eel. She was wearing a white A-line skirt placed at her natural slim waist. It hung smoothly over her hips and swayed melodically as she approached me. When she spoke, her voice was warm and soothing. Hearing her talk was like taking a bath in warm chicken noodle soup. Her lips were like two shiny pieces of flesh between her nose and chin, and she had tatas like the Dagmar bumper on a 1953 Mercury Monterey. When I first saw her, just 3 words came into my mind: artificial.
I didn't think you'd mind my coming in without warning.
No, of course not. Sometimes the local feral dogs pop in the same way and make hanky-panky on my welcome mat.
Does it pay for you to be that polite, Mr. Benson?
Well, not when I have to clean the welcome mat. But typically I'm at least kind of polite to pretty dames who walk in off the street on the off chance that they may want to make hanky-panky on the welcome mat. It's all part of my renowned charm. Now, what's on your pretty little mind, Toots? I'm hoping for the hanky-panky.
That bottle in front of you. Will you pour me a drink?
No, I won't. There's a soda jerkless a few doors down. If you're thirsty, you'd probably have better luck if you'd walk into his apartment.
Never mind. I came to use you instead of your Diet Cola anyway.
Well, all right. So let's hear it, sister.
My name is Monica Charday. I'll give you $300 to do something for me. It'll only take you an hour or so.
That's way too much dough, sweetheart, unless it's for murder. And if it's for murder, it's not enough dough.
Are you afraid?
Let's just say I'm not fond of rubbing out random people for a paycheck, possibly in some badger game with a pretty chippy I just met. Murder is not my game, sweetheart. I do like to play doctor now and then.
If it were murder, I'd do it myself. Mr. Benson, I want you to frighten someone for me.
Look, Toots, just call me Brick, all right? It personifies me better. It's strong and masterful, mighty, forceful, and robust.
Brick? Brick Benson? I like that name. How did your mama ever come up with that name?
Well, it's not Brick Benson, Dollface. It's just Brick Benson. I got that name when my mom married my dad. Turns out his name was Benson, too, just like mine. Some things are just beyond trying to figure out.
I mean, Brick. Why did she name you Brick?
Oh, Brick, that moniker. My mom didn't name me Brick. That's a nickname the other cops gave me back in my rookie days when I was a patrolman in Fort Myers. And it's a heck of a lot better than my real name, Salvador Eugene Benson. Because, of course, none of the kids in school called me Sal Benson. They called me Sal E. It's worse than a boy named Sue. Well, anywho, my nickname Brick came from an incident where I was injured in the line of duty.
Injured? I'm sorry. Tell me about it.
Okay. I usually don't like to talk about myself, but here goes. See, we got this call about a feral cat that was beating up the dogs in the neighborhood. Now, I took off chasing after it, and it ran under a widow lady's house. I went in and crawled after it through about 20 years of built-up cobwebs, bat crap, and what looked like a man's decomposing body.
Well, good Lord, Brick. The lady must have killed her husband and put him under the house.
Oh, well, I never thought of that. I probably should have added that to the report. That lady's husband did just kind of disappear several years before. She was really homely looking. Her eyes were small and very close together. They might as well just put him in one socket. So we all just figured that he ran away. I know I would have. Anywho, the cat ran next door to a construction site, and he jumped up on a brick mason's scaffold. And just as I was reaching up to grab the cat, it knocked over a coffee can full of brick chips, tobacco spit, cigarette butts, and what looked like rat poop.
Oh.
Whammo! Right into the old pie hole it went.
My God.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, go on, please. What did you do?
Well, I staggered backwards, choking and spitting, and I backed right into a mixing tray full of wet cement. There I was, feet full of cement and a mouthful of brick chips, mouse turds, and God knows what all. Well, anyway, down it went. Now, within a week, I got a gum infection so bad my gums swelled up as big as Kate Smith's derriere. They began to ooze, bleed, and before it was all over, I lost all my front teeth. Look.
Yuck.
And look here at these dentures. I made them myself out of dried clay, some sawdust, and a little bit of peppermint flavoring. They taste like candy for a while there, but after a while, they started tasting like cow urine. And don't ask me how I know how that tastes.
I won't.
Yeah, I just couldn't afford a good set of pearly whites on a cop's pay.
But what does that have to do with you being called Brick?
Yeah, like I said, Snookums, it's just Brick, not Brick, all right? Well, now, that's the interesting part. You see, by the next morning, I started passing pieces of brick chips the size of Fig Newtons. My butt felt like a gang of road workers went in there with street drills to four-lane this son of a gun. And talk about kidney stones. Oh, I was peeing chunks of cement the size of Cheerios.
Ouch.
And to make matters worse, the cement dried up on my feet and gave me a toenail fungus that curled my cuticles up like potato chips. I eventually lost all my toenails, and it spread to the 5 fingernails on my left hand, which now look like cornflakes. Look here. And adding icing to the cake, or maybe I should say sugar to the cornflakes, just as I was leaving the construction area, one of the masons up on a scaffold dropped a brick right square on top of my head. The doctors were able to remove most of the brick from my cranial cavity, but they had to leave about a third of it in there, wedged up against my limbic system.
Oh my God, that's horrible. I'm amazed you're still alive.
Yeah, everybody was amazed I was still alive. My doctor said if I had a normal-sized brain, some real damage could have occurred. My law enforcement days would have been kaput. My dad was a Democrat community organizer at the time, and if I got brain damage, I'd only be qualified to work with him.
Brick, what is the limbic system?
Well, though I like to play doctor, I don't know much about it. Well, according to my doctor, the limbic system controls my primitive impulses and maintains my biological homeostasis. He said most of my brain is limbic system. Anywho, I still got all my primitive impulses. And of course, I never had to worry about that biological homeostasis thing because I am not a homosexual. Anyway, ever since then, everyone calls me Brick.
I see.
Well, darling, that's my story. I hope you enjoyed hearing it as much as I enjoyed reliving it. So, back to your problem. Now, you say that you want me to frighten somebody. And so why me? Why don't you just hire a friend? Or are all your friends just too pretty?
Brick, they are just not. As you say, strong and masterful, mighty, forceful and robust as you are. I want you to scare a man named Tony Goomba. You'll find him in a building down on Mango Street. Here's the address. I promise, nothing will happen to you.
Yeah. I think that's what they told Jimmy Hoffa when they threw him in the trunk and then took off to the dump.
Tony will be in his office until 11 tonight. I want you to go down and see him. Tell him you're from Adrian, and he's to get out of town by noon tomorrow.
All right, I'm the man from Adrian. Okay. Well, suppose he don't want to go.
He'll go, Brick. Don't let him know who hired you. Just tell him Adrian said to leave.
Now, look, sweet cheeks, you're leading me up a blind alley here. This all sounds kind of illegal. Is it illegal? I got to be careful. I'm not on good terms with Chief O'Malley since borrowing his house keys without his permission one night. You got to tell me more or just say goodnight, sweetheart.
There's not much more I can tell you except there won't be any trouble. He's a rotten little beast and I want to frighten him badly.
And why do you want to do that?
He's been bothering my sister.
Your sister? Why didn't he bother you?
Because I'll bother him back.
Oh, for some reason that makes sense.
You want the $300 or not, Mr. Benson?
Now, don't go back to being formal with me, sugar. Just call me Brick. And yeah, it's gonna be a long summer. So, put the dough on the table.
Good. And you'll need this too.
Oh no, you keep that. I don't want a gun. They scare me. They're full of bullets. And they're loud.
It's empty, don't worry. See? No shells. It's perfectly safe.
I don't know. Look, sis. Now look, I've got a nasty disposition. Now you can rent that for $300. But if you want more than that, you're going to have to find yourself a hitman.
I don't want you to be a hitman, Brick. That's why I want you to use this gun. I know it's empty. Just threaten Tony and he'll scale fast. It's just a way to save yourself some breath.
Threaten? Hold on now. Wait a minute. Come to think of it, that's illegal too, ain't it? I haven't kept up with criminal law since I left the police business. All right. It's your $300.
You'd better go now.
What? Now? What? Oh, all right. Hold on a second. I gotta grab my coat and turn off the radio. And you listen here. If your doorbell rings, you better answer it. Not play mouse with me.
What?
I'm saying you better answer the door, because I might look you up.
What?
Because if anything goes wrong, then I ain't dead or in jail or something. I'll be around looking for you, and from there on it won't be nice, boy, I'm telling you. Why, I'll dirty you up like dirty socks on a dinner table. Now, I'm not threatening you or nothing, because I'm still not sure if threatening's a crime. I'm just stating a hypothetical threat in dirty socks on a dinner table kind of way.
Oh, relax, Brick. You'll never learn to fall in love that way.
So she handed me the gun and walked out of my apartment. Seeing her leave made me feel like Albert Einstein losing an argument with Larry, Curly, and Moe. I have no idea why, but it did. She walked with a nice, easy swing of a bag of Jell-O packed in a swimsuit. So I put the gun in my overcoat pocket and prepared to go down to Fort Myers Beach to frighten Tony Goomba for Monica.
Real cream, real cream, real cream, real cream, a little apple do ya? Real cream, you look so debonair. Real cream, the gals will all pursue ya. They'll love to get their fingers in your hair.
I was a real cop once, but a bad choice left me out in the cold. And now I'm fighting for a few coins to rub together every day down here on Fort Myers Beach. Life for a PI down here is as uncomfortable as a steel wool jockstrap and as painful as washing your eyes with ammonia. Sure, business has gotten a little better since the electrification of the swing bridge and the increased tourist business, but most of my business still comes from the locals, typically shrimpers who bust their butts dragging up pink gold from the Gulf of Mexico day on end. That's hard, smelly, and low-pay work, and they tend to handle their own problems because they're as tough as the soles of alligators' feet. Sometimes the solution to their problems comes in the form of a one-way trip to the bottom of the briny blue. So the $300 Monica Charday gave me to scare some schlub named Tony Goomba was a windfall, like discovering the rock in my shoe was a diamond. That much cash could keep me in business for a few years. When I got down to Mango Street to find Tony Goomba, the place was deserted, except for a couple of winos near the corner trying to buy back their beatnik days with a jug of Muscatel. I stopped in front of the place. I could see a light burning in the back. I began to walk quietly through the place. The place felt cramped. It smelled sweaty, like being in a steam cabinet with a bunch of sumo wrestlers. Whoa! Guy could get his head caved in around here. Oh, sorry, kitty. Anyway, I was so darn quiet you could hear a moth fart. Ah! Sorry, that wasn't a moth. Looks like it's going to be one of those nights when things go sideways and your trouble comes hard. And it doesn't do any good to sing the blues because down here you're just another guy who couldn't carry a tune in a tote bag and decided to play the ukulele. When I got to the office, back in the corner there was a small cracked window. Through the window I could see a man sitting at a desk. When I opened the door and walked in, he didn't seem surprised.
Come on in, pal. You ain't much in stealth, you know.
Is that so?
Yeah, that's so. You know, you're about as stealthy as a Clydesdale. And I could hear you talking to yourself out in the alley like some kind of an idiot. And when you first came in and you tripped over the garbage can and you scared my cat.
What? You could hear me talking to myself out in the alley?
Yeah.
I thought I was just thinking to myself.
Yeah? Well, that could create some real problems for you if you're on a date, pal. So what do you want?
About 10 words if you're Tony Goomba.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what words are they?
You'd better look up a timetable because you're taking the next train out of town.
That's 15 words.
No, it isn't 15 words. I contracted you and had into you'd and you and are into your.
It's 15 words. I gave you credit for you'd and your.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, then try this.
Go ahead.
Look up timetable, take next train out of town.
That's 9 words, you putz.
No, it ain't. It's 10.
9.
I counted very carefully on my fingers as I said each word.
It's 10 words, I tell you, you jamook. You counted timetable as 2 words. Timetable is 1 word.
It is?
Well, that's not important. You're getting out of town on the next train, you hear?
Now that's 10 words. Finally.
That's not important.
It ain't? Words matter, pal.
Just go.
What makes you so tough to be telling me to get out of town with just 2 words?
This does.
Ooh, scary. Well, you do look a lot tougher with a gun. Does it help you talk any better?
Now look, Goomba, I'm going to say it slow, mister. Pack up your long johns and get out.
Is that you talking, Gumshoe, or somebody else?
I'm just the guy with a gun. Adrian does the talking.
So Adrian says get out.
That's right. You got the whole message now. 2 words. I should have started with that.
Yeah, you can probably count that far. All right, so you told me now. So just wander off somewhere and spend your dough. And don't scare my cat on the way out.
Don't worry, I will.
Well, what? You gonna scare my cat?
Spend the dough.
What about my cat?
Cats don't spend dough.
You better not scare my cat.
I'm not gonna scare your darned cat. I'm gonna spend the $300.
All right. I just didn't want you scaring my cat again. But you'll need to keep part of that dough, though, because I'm gonna give you an answer right now. I'm gonna take that gun away from you, mister, and you can pick the pieces out of your backside on the way home.
You better stand back, Goomba, or I'll share the business end of this gun with you.
You've heard my offer, mister. Now let's see if you can make good with that.
Goomba! No! Save your muscle, fella! Save your muscle, fella!
That
The gun is empty! Oops! Goomba! Goomba!
Somebody play this.
Brick. It's brick. Brick. Not prick. Oh, well. Sometimes you eat the pizza, and sometimes the pizza gives you pizzeria. Well, that's the way it was this time for Goomba. He hit the floor like Grandma's undercooked meatloaf, and we all know what that sounds like. Just before he died, he grabbed his stomach like he had, you know, the pizzeria analogy thing, and then he didn't care anymore. I rolled him on his back. His eyes were open, and he looked surprised, like a guy who had just walked in on his grandma in her birthday suit. There was a bad tattoo of a scar on his forehead, I guess to make him look tough without earning it. Well, I didn't have time to tell him how sorry I was, because I needed to get out of there before Chief O'Malley walked in on me. O'Malley followed me around like a jilted girlfriend ever since I borrowed the stupid keys to his beach house. If he caught me there, I'd have about as much chance as a donut in a fat camp. I started for the door, but right then I knew I was the donut, and the fat man was my old boss, Chief Detective Morpheus O'Malley. O'Malley. He's the only Mexican I know of with an Irish surname. Sorry, I digress. O'Malley plodded in like a beach walrus and went over to look at Goomba's body.
Jello, Brick.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy's face looks very embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like he just walked in on his grandma in her birthday suit.
Hey, that's my simile.
How did he die, Brick?
Well, I'm not a doctor, O'Malley, but I'd say he had too much lead in his diet.
Oh, see. And looky here. He looks like Joe got the gun.
That's right. I got the gun.
Would you like to make me a bet, Brick?
Nah, I'll just keep stealing like always.
That is very funny, Brick. Do you know how I feel, Brick?
Well, Jude feels soft and spongy to anybody else. But I suppose you'd feel pretty good to yourself right now. Look, O'Malley, sure, I walked in here with a gun. There was some spelling and math disputes and fight talk, and I ended up killing him. But it's not what it looks like.
Well, it looks to me like I can finally put you in the huska for sure this time, Brick.
Yeah, I'll bet you can, Chief. You can stick me with a bad deal same as usual. But as usual, you'll be dealing from the bottom of the deck.
Oh, worse than that, Brick. It will be all the time. And I want to watch you because I think you will be a big crybaby, just like when I fired you from the department.
Well, I won't cry, but I am going to scream, Chief. I'm going to scream about a gal who sent me in here with an empty gun.
That is a mighty big hole in the guy's belly for an empty gun. Brick?
Yeah, somebody threw me a last-minute curveball somehow. The gun was empty once.
Well, Brick, that's the only way they make a gun. I don't want to arrest you for when they make the gun, Brick. I want to arrest you for the dead guy on the floor now.
All right, look. I told you I didn't come here to kill this guy. I don't even know him, O'Malley. For all I know, he may have been a good guy. A little particular on the spelling and math, maybe, but maybe a good guy overall. I'm sorry he's dead.
Oh, you are sorry, Brick. Well, that's all right. In a few weeks, you will be able to tell him that in person.
O'Malley's carried a grudge against me ever since I borrowed the keys to his beach house that time when I thought he was out of town. Now he had me in a tight spot with no good way to turn. Like being caught between a vampire and your crazy ex-girlfriend. You get your life sucked out either way. When we left there, he was smiling from ear to ear like a circus clown with a bag of whoopee cushions at a convention for librarians. He called the coroner for the body, and when we got downtown, he dropped the gun off with the ballistics and hauled me in for interrogation. Reporters were there, and he gave them the O'Malley version of the story. And of course, I got the starring role. O'Malley was a little short on facts. He has a memory like a steel trap. Information goes in, but can't get out. He booked me on suspicion of murder, and for the next hour and a half he interviewed me under hot lights with a big cop standing by with a rubber hose. At about 11 o'clock, O'Malley brought me into his office. From there on, it happened kind of fast.
I just talked to the DA, Brick. He is going to make things go really fast for you.
Well, how nice of him. But he's going to look kind of bad going to a trial on a guy you can't even identify.
Don't worry, Brick. We will find out all about the dead guy. Sit down, Brick.
Hey, take it easy. O'Malley, you can't find your own house without a telephone book and a city map. If you want to know who he is, talk to the gal who sent me there. Her name is Monica Charday.
We have been through all that, Brick. Now tell me, who is this Tony Goomba?
I honestly don't know, Chief. The girl said his name was Tony Goomba. Why don't you ask her?
Okay, I won't press you. I don't have to, Brick. I have everything I need. I have a telephone tip about the murder. I have Jew. I have the dead guy. And a big fat murder gun in your possession.
Okay.
Jello. Jace. This is Chief O'Malley talking. Yes, I know it was a 38 pistol. Well, they're crazy down there in ballistics. I saw him standing over the dead guy. Well, they must have made a mistake, that's all. No. I don't want him in here. I don't want him in here. Hey, Joe, I don't want him in.
O'Malley, you're looking kind of pale. You need to freshen up your makeup. Oh, and throw in a little dab of that Brill cream while you're at it. Remember, a little dab will do you, and the gals will all pursue you. How's that for product placement? Excuse me, Chief. I got some bad news.
Well, keep it to yourself, or you will be taking more bad news home to your wife. I will talk to you later.
Okay. No, talk to him now, O'Malley. See if he's got information on that bullet. It didn't match up, did it, officer? That's right, Chief. It's a 38 bullet, all right, but it don't match up with the gun you brought in.
He's got to match up. I came in and found him standing there with the gun. He's already admitted it.
That's a real neat trick then, Chief, because if he fired the bullet out of that gun, he must have retooled it in midair. Oh, that's a good one. Hey, I pulled some fast ones, O'Malley, but I'm not that fast. Come on. Get out of that chair, why don't you, so you'll have some room to squirm around.
You shut up, Rick.
Excuse me, guys. Can I leave now? I only had those 3 lines. It's okay by me. Great lines.
Get out.
Thanks. Okay, O'Malley. I'm not going to bother you anymore. Thanks for the good time, though.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you talking about?
I'm leaving. You got nothing but a worthless old 38 that don't match up with anything but the closest garbage can. You can't hold me on that.
What are you talking about? I found you over the body. I can hold you on the suspicion of murder.
The suspicion of murder, huh? Well, that might not go over too good with the commissioner in the morning when the newspapers come down for a follow-up, and you'll have to talk to them from way out in left field somewhere.
I will handle them.
O'Malley, you couldn't handle a cardboard box with a forklift. They'll laugh you out of town.
I will have you back in here tomorrow morning holding you on a suspicion of murder.
You couldn't hold ants in a jar of honey, O'Malley. The town ought to thank you, though.
Why?
Because you keep a nice, neat jail, Chief. As long as you're in charge, it won't be all cluttered up with criminals. Oh, and don't forget the Brill cream, Chief.
I'm warning you, Benson, you better get back in here.
A little dab'll do you.
Hey,
When I left O'Malley, he was steaming like a snowman in the sun. But he didn't try to stop me, so I got away from there quicker than a Catholic politician from the confessional. I was kind of surprised that O'Malley let me leave, that he was more confused than a monkey trying to peel a plastic banana. But I was stuck as well. The puzzle just wasn't coming together any better for me. And hour by hour, things made less and less sense. Questions drifted in and out of my mind in a haze, like, why did I let Monica Charday convince me so easily to threaten Tony Goomba? Why did I take that gun from her? I have my own guns, and I've never been afraid of guns like I told her. I'm a certified firearms instructor, and I visit a firing range more frequently than Carter's little liver pills make me visit the men's room. I actually love the sound of gunfire. It bolsters my strong, masterful, mighty, forceful, and robust persona. The whole Goomba confrontation was all out of whack, too. The tattoo of a scar on his head didn't make any sense, even for the denizens of Fort Myers Beach. And Chief O'Malley would have certainly seen that there were either 5 unfired blanks in the gun, or just 1 fired shell, and that's highly unlikely. Forensics could easily tell the difference between a blank shell and one that contained a bullet. Monica didn't have the time to put 5 bullets or blanks in the gun at my apartment. There was even less time for her to put in just 1 blank and assure it was positioned so that it would chain roar the first pull of the trigger. I was sure my gun went off. If it was an actual bullet, then where'd it go? Because it certainly didn't go into Tony Goomba. And where did the bullet that forensics dug out of Tony's body come from? I was beginning to think I'd been drugged or that I'd gone bat crap crazy. So I had a real mess to untangle. It was like trying to sort out the worms from a pot of your dinner spaghetti, and we all know how difficult that is. So I looked up Monica Charday's address, went over to her apartment. She wasn't there, but I found out from a neighbor that Monica worked at a second-rate nightclub called the Cat's Meow on South US 41, on the outskirts of Estero. But I was stuck, and I needed some help putting the pieces together. So I looked up the only honest guy I knew and could trust, Habib Hadari, a guy who saved my life once. He had just bought a little bar called the Oasis on 41, just a few miles north of Pagefield. So I went there looking for his help.
Don't depend on artificial aids to counteract indigestion when Carter's Little Liver Pills aid digestion after nature's own order. Take Carter's Little Liver Pills as directed.
In my line of work, you really never have a close friend. You just kind of rent them and keep an eye on them and make sure they aren't poking holes in you when they're slapping you on the back. Good friends are rare and as undependable as paper underwear. I felt certain Khabib would help me out of this jam somehow, but I could not for the life of me figure out why I turned to him to break into Monica's apartment. He is a doctor and a very honest man. While driving to the bar, I had a weird feeling that something was wrong, and I still had a splitting headache. It seemed that I should be going to see Dr. Khabib about that, rather than to ask him to commit a burglary for me. I hadn't been in the downtown area of Fort Myers where Khabib's bar was located for a long time. And for that matter, I don't recall ever being at his bar or even knowing when he invested in one. When I drove up, I was almost certain that the bar was at the exact location where the Lee Memorial Hospital had been located since 1943. I thought, well, Fort Myers is one of the fastest growing cities in the country, and I was just probably not aware of a recent location of the hospital. When I first walked into the bar, I had another surreal experience. Khabib must have been having a costume party. People looked odd. Some were dressed as doctors and nurses, others looked like injured people. I noticed a strange-looking woman who I thought was looking at me. I wasn't sure because she had Jack Elam-style eyes, if there's such a thing as eye styles. She was so wall-eyed she could probably see the left and right wall of any room she walked into simultaneously. She was coming out of a hallway across from me. She wobbled towards me ungracefully, as if she were testing out new stilts. Then I noticed she was on crutches. It turned out she wasn't even focused on me. She was shooting for the door behind me. She staggered past me and exited the bar, and I breathed a sigh of relief. I saw Khabib seated at the end of the bar chatting with, or more like at, one of his bartenders, who was in the process of coughing up a lung and looked like he had just gotten up off a mortician's table. There was an open seat next to Khabib, so I pulled up the bar stool and I sat down next to him. Hey there, Khabib. Sorry I missed your birthday last week. Happy belated, my friend.
Oh my golly gosh, I am standing here beside myself with happiness. My old friend, Big Benson. Thank you. You are just in time to help me celebrate my birthday last week. Tonight, Rick, I want you to meet my best bartender. His name is Harry. Harry, this is my good friend, Big Benson. He is a private eyeball. You can hire him and he can find things for you.
No, Khabib, I'm a private eye. Harry, I'm a private investigator. Private eye, not private eyeballs. It's just one eye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brick. Just one eye, no balls, Harry.
Whoa, are you all right, Harry? He doesn't look so good. Khabib, you're a doctor, can
Are
you?
you stereotyping me, Brick?
Well, it's 1949, of course I am. But you are a doctor, Khabib.
Oh, you're right, Brick. I am a doctor. And because I am a doctor, I can tell you Harry is just fine. I think he just needs a smoke break. He's been standing there behind the bar for 12 hours today. He's working a double shift.
Harry. Hey, Harry! Good Lord, Harry, can I get you something? Water, or maybe an ambulance?
Rick, I think you're making a mountain out of a mole's hair. Harry is all right. He has a date tonight with his girlfriend, DIIXIE, after he gets off work. She's that cute little blonde over there.
What? Khabib, she's got to be in her 20s. Harry's got to be, what, 90?
Oh no, Brick. Harry is only 83. He looks young because he keeps in such good shape. DIIXIE is 24. Harry is your personal trainer. DIIXIE just graduated from college.
Medical school, I hope. Harry. Harry. Oh, good Lord. Harry, could you get me a Fanta Cola with ice, please?
Rick only drinks Fanta straight, Harry, because he is what they call a teetotaler. And Harry, I would like a Johnny Walker and Fanta on the rocks, please, and put it all on the house tap.
Khabib. Hey, Khabib, he's really struggling with that bottle. Harry, I could come back there and help you open that bottle if you'd like.
There, you see, Brick, I told you, he's very strong and healthy. He goes to the gym, lifts weights, runs 2 miles every day, and then he drains DIIXIE.
I think it's more like DIIXIE drains him. Does he work out just so he can open bottles every day?
Oh, no, Brick. He works out so he can keep up with DIIXIE every night.
Oh, good Lord.
Harry, we would like those drinks sometime tonight, please. Put it all on the house tap, please.
Look, Khabib, I came here tonight because I really have to talk to you.
Well, of course, Brick. I am always there for you, you know that.
Yes, Khabib, I know I can always count on you.
Well, of course, Brick. What is the problem?
Khabib, I'm in a tough spot and I really need your help.
I am so sorry to hear you are having some difficulty, Brick. What is the problem?
Well, I'm in a real tough situation, Khabib, and that's why I need you.
For the loving of Pete, Brick, I wish you would quit peeing in the bushes and tell me what is the problem.
Well, I killed a guy this evening, I thought I killed him.
Oh, my golly, I take it back. I would rather you just keep peeing in the bushes. So tell me, did you kill him or did you not kill him? What are you going to do, flip a coin, Brick?
Listen, Khabib, I got hired to scare a guy tonight. 10 minutes later, I ended up shooting him.
So tell me, Brick, was the guy alive before you shot him?
Well, yeah.
Was the guy dead after you shot him?
Yes.
Well then, it is my opinion as a doctor that you did kill him.
Well, it does look that way, and that's my problem, Khabib. We got into a stupid argument over words and numbers of words, and I was sure that timetable was 2 words.
Timetable is 1 word, Brick.
I know that now. That doesn't matter.
So, Brick, you killed a man over the spelling of a word? I think you take spelling too seriously, Brick. Couldn't you have just scared him into having a heart attack instead of shooting him?
Khabib, just listen, will you? The problem is that it turned into a fight, and somehow the fight grew bullets. Well, 1 bullet anyway.
Remind me not to get into an argument with you about spelling.
Anyway, look, Chief O'Malley walked in right after it happened, and you know how O'Malley is. He follows me around like a boil on my butt. He said he got a telephone tip about the shooting.
Well, my friend, he does hold a grudge against you for breaking in and stealing his house.
I did not steal his house, Khabib. I was just gonna, borrow it, for a while he was on vacation. He wouldn't even have known it, except it turns out he was leaving until later in the day, and I I just kind of walked in on him and his wife, frolicking in the living room at 4 in the morning.
Oh, I think that you are lucky he did not kill you, Brick. You should have asked him if you could borrow his house and have avoided to seeing the frolicking.
Well, I didn't.
Well, then I must say that you did break in and steal his house, and as a consequence interrupted their frolicking. So, what are you going to do besides go to the electric chair?
Well, I'm trying to avoid that, Khabib. Look, I need your help. O'Malley booked me on suspicion of murder. But luckily, the whole thing backfired on him down at headquarters. The bullet they pulled out of the stip and the phony gun I was carrying didn't match up. It doesn't make sense, Khabib. That tip-off to Chief O'Malley proves it. I was set up and framed.
So, who is the dead guy you killed?
Just some mug who couldn't tolerate a hole in his belly. His name is supposed to be Tony Goomba, but there was no identification on him, and they couldn't find any record of him.
Well, Vic, my advice to you is that you should not have had yourself out as a hitman.
It's not advice after the fact, Khabib.
Well, you did not come to me for my before-the-fact advice, so my after-the-fact advice will have to serve as my before-the-fact advice.
I don't need any advice right now, Khabib. It's too late for that. I need your help. I'm telling you, I didn't hire out as a hitman. It was somebody else's idea, Khabib.
Well, yes, of course, Vic. I will help you. If you don't need advice, what sort of help do you need?
I want you to break into a girl's apartment for me.
Don't depend on artificial aids to counteract indigestion when Carter's Little Liver Pills aid digestion after nature's own orders. Take Carter's Little Liver Pills as directed. Get them at any drugstore, only 25 cents.
Khabib was full of advice on my ideas and my problem with Chief O'Malley. But like I told him, advice was not what I needed at this point. Advice was not going to get me out of this mess I was in. What I needed was hard evidence of something to prove that I didn't kill Tony Goomba, well, at least intentionally, and hopefully that someone, possibly Monica, had set me up somehow to make it look like I'd killed him. The one thing I had going for me was that the bullet that killed Goomba did not come from the gun that Monica gave me. But O'Malley was hell-bent on pinning a murder one rap on me regardless. This thing was turning out to be a real nightmare, where facts and reality just didn't line up.
Let me get this straight, Rick. You say you want me to break into a girl's apartment?
Yes.
Would you by any chance be open to some before-the-fact advice on that, Rick?
No.
Well, okay, but do not come back to me complaining after the fact. So, you are serious about wanting me to break into a girl's apartment?
Don't worry about it, Khabib. She won't be home.
So, the girl will not be home?
No.
Is that supposed to be some sort of incentive?
Khabib, here's her address. Her name is Monica Charday. She's the gal who hired me.
And if the girl is not there, what am I supposed to find?
Find anything that will connect her with the dead guy. He's a short guy, too short to support his bad attitude. About 5'3" maybe. He had a bad tattoo of a scar on his forehead.
He had a bad tattoo of a scar? That doesn't help me much, my friend.
Khabib, how many men are running around with a tattoo of a scar on their forehead?
I honestly don't know. But this is Southwest Florida, Brick, so it could be a lot.
You got a point there. Look, Just go through her drawers, pick up everything you can, will you, and leave a message at my place.
You want me to go through her drawers, you say? You want me to pick up everything in her drawers? I like you a lot, Brick, but you are a very strange man.
Hurry up, will you, Khabib? Your glass is empty.
Huh. I can see that. Harry never bought us our drinks.
You're right. Fine place you're running here, Khabib.
Oh, thank you, Brick. We were voted best bar in Fort Myers last month.
After Khabib and I left the bar, I went by a greasy spoon on Elm Street and borrowed a car from a guy who works there who owed me a favor. It was after midnight when I started down Estero Boulevard. About a half an hour later, I pulled up in front of the Cat's Meow. It was a long, rambling place on the left side of the road that used to be a warehouse. There was so much neon and noise outside, it was like New Orleans at Mardi Gras, without the musky smell of shrimp and vomit and the periodic wafts of horse droppings, all on about an acre of sand. As I entered the lobby, I saw a picture of Monica Charday seated at a piano. When I went in the lounge, I saw her sitting at a white baby grand looking like she just posed for the picture. She had a voice as sweet as warm buttered biscuits, and when she looked at me, I felt she was massaging my soul with her biscuits. Well, you know what I mean. Her hawk-like amber eyes were warm and welcoming, while at the same time menacing. They reminded me that this lovely creature could be a bird of prey with a stomach full of dead mice and other small creatures, and not just a pretty songbird.
Hot dog. What kinds of kids eat Armour hot dogs?
Fat kids, skinny kids, kids who climb on rocks, soft kids, crispy kids.
Even kids with chicken pox love hot dogs.
Armour hot dogs.
The dog kids love to bite. Picking it up on the old banjo, put on the mustard and away we go.
After leaving the Oasis bar, Khabib and I went our separate ways. Hopefully Khabib was going to come up with something at Monica's apartment that would connect her to Tony Goomba. There had to be some other connection other than just wanting to run a guy out of town for bothering her sister. Most of all, I had to find out how Goomba was killed with a bullet that couldn't have come out of the gun I was carrying because, according to Monica Charday, it was loaded with a blank. It was all crazy and confused, like one of those movies where a guy finds himself living in a bizarre world where nothing makes sense and things are all backwards and out of place. Or like a very poorly crafted comedy parody where the writer couldn't figure out how to bring the thing to a conclusion and explain all the inconsistencies in the story. Yeah, more like that. Anywho, when I got to the Cat's Meow, Monica saw me at the door and got up and went to her dressing room. I followed her in and locked the door behind me. She was sitting in front of a mirror. Her long, silky, flaxen hair cascaded down her back. My first impression was that it looked like she had Roy Rogers' horse Trigger sitting on her shoulder. And I thought, well, that's a stupid analogy. They'd never let Trigger in the women's dressing room. I walked up slowly and stood behind Monica looking at her smooth, tan shoulders. She watched silently as I approached her and didn't resist as I brushed her hair aside to look at her long, slender neck.
You seem fascinated with my neck, Brick.
I'm just looking for the right spot to break it.
Brick, you wouldn't hurt me, would you?
Of course I would. It's 1949. Guys just slap rods around for no reason all the time and nobody complains. I've actually got a reason. Yeah, I got a reason enough to bat you around like a Coney Island whack-a-mole.
Brick, you're a misogynist.
I am not. I've never given anyone a massage in my entire life.
You hate women.
No, I don't. If I was going to give a massage to anyone, it would be a woman and, well, maybe a fluffy little dog, but definitely not a cat.
No, I mean...
You got me in some deep doo-doo with your little get Tony Goomba out of town scheme, Toots. Now I need some answers. Who is Tony Goomba?
What difference does it make?
None to him, sweetheart, but a lot to me. Goomba's dead.
No, Brick. He couldn't be dead.
Yeah, deader than a proverbial mouse that tried to bench press a locomotive.
There's no such proverb, Brick.
Well, excuse me. I didn't know you were a proverbologist. But if you want to argue about it, you better run down to the morgue and lodge a complaint. They sliced him up like a Christmas ham and put him on ice. The cops think I killed him with that supposedly empty gun you gave me. I tried to sell them on that story, but they weren't buying.
He couldn't have been killed with that gun.
No?
No, Brick. I put blanks in it at your apartment when you were getting your coat out of the closet.
Well then, sweetheart, you're faster than a babysitter's boyfriend when the car pulls up, and it only took 13 seconds for me to get my coat out of that closet. You couldn't have put a blank, let alone 5 blanks in the gun in that short amount of time. None of this makes sense, and it's given me a really bad headache.
How bad is it?
Glad you asked. It hurts like a donkey giving birth to a pickup truck, and we all know how that feels. I sure am glad I brought my Alka-Seltzer with me.
Brick, just take my word for it. I would never hire you to kill someone. I believe you can get things done without the use of violence. Brick, I'm pragmatic.
You are? Really? Well, congratulations. Well, you sure don't look like it, Toots. How far along are you? Goomba was a father, I take it. I'm pretty sure it's not me, unless daydreams could get a girl pragmatic.
What? I'm pragmatic, Brick, not pregnant. It means I believe in dealing with things sensibly and realistically, in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations.
Why didn't you just say that?
Brevity, Brick. Brevity is the key. One should always be trenchant, succinct, brusque, laconic, epigrammatic, aphoristic, and economical of word, phrase, sentence, and paragraph, or you'll lose your audience. Brick. Brick. Hello, Brick.
Huh? Oh, excuse me, you lost me there for a minute. What were you saying?
Keep it short, Brick.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Words matter, Brick.
And yeah, that's what Goomba said. And look what happened to him shortly thereafter in the same episode. Look, sweet cheeks, the cops feel like I had some reason to kill Goomba, and I don't like it. When you kill people, you don't get invited anyplace. In this state, what you get for killing people is a solo performance in the hot seat of honor at Rayford Penitentiary. So let me tell you, sweetheart, if push comes to shove, I'm going to push you all the way, no matter how many words it takes.
I really don't understand it, Brick. I don't understand how Tony could be dead.
Well, putting a bullet in somebody's belly often tends to end up in death, but I don't understand any of this either. Nothing adds up. I feel like my brain has been removed, worked on, and reinstalled, and all the replacement parts were made in China. So tell me now, who is or was Tony Goomba?
He was after some microfilm.
Oh!
He
was a tiny little photographer.
He
probably just needed some more tiny little film for his tiny little camera.
But Brick,
why were you so against him getting his tiny little hands on a tiny little roll of film?
Well, he wasn't.
You know, he was so tiny,
Brick,
so and little. He probably couldn't handle
Brick,
a huge manly camera like mine. Mine's the size of
Brick,
a suitcase. You know, Goomba was so tiny.
How tiny was he?
He was so tiny he wouldn't make a splash if you dropped him in a bathtub carrying a watermelon.
That's pretty tiny.
Yeah, I'm good at analogies, similes, metaphors, and idioms. I don't know the actual difference between them, but I'm good at them. But according to you, I'm no good at proverbs. Anywho, I bet Goomba could actually load his tiny little camera with tiny little film with those tiny little hands of his. My hands are way too big. They're...
I know. Strong and masterful, mighty, forceful, and robust.
Well, I was going to say kind of clumsy. But let's go with what you said.
Brick, the microfilm wasn't for some tiny little camera. It had a secret fried chicken recipe consisting of 11 herbs and spices from some colonel up in Kentucky. The whole world wants to know what that recipe is. It's priceless. Brick, if you control fried chicken, you control the world. Everyone knows it.
Oh, sure. Everybody knows that, right? I know that. And you thought scaring him out of town was the best way to stop him from controlling the world with fried chicken, and that he couldn't control the world from any other town. And this priceless recipe for controlling the world by way of fried chicken was just laying around his warehouse down at Fort Myers Beach. Well, that makes sense to me. But then I do have a third of a brick inside my cranium wedged up against my limbic system. Well, sister, no matter what, you better be able to identify Goomba, because Chief O'Malley is stumped about his identity. Even that tattoo didn't help.
What tattoo, Brick?
The cheap tattoo of a scar on his forehead. The cops couldn't find any record of the guy with that description.
Oh, no. Brick, this is all wrong. This is terrible. You killed the wrong man.
When Mother's making out the family shopping list, remember to buy the best. Quaker puffed wheat and puffed rice Sparkies. Quaker puffed wheat Sparkies, wheat bags shot from guns. Here comes Quaker with a bang bang. Ra-da-da-da-da-bang bang. Ask Mother. She knows. Yes, Mother knows that quality comes first in a food. And that's one of the big reasons why Quaker puffed wheat and rice Sparkies are more popular today than ever before.
So according to Monica, I killed the wrong man. That struck me as odd, since the plan was supposed to be just to scare a guy named Tony Goomba into getting out of town. And I certainly had no intentions of killing anyone. So things were getting worse by the minute and more confusing by the second. So if it wasn't Goomba, who was the man I apparently killed with a supposedly empty gun that didn't match the bullet they pulled out of whoever the dead guy was? And why would he have the microfilm? For all I knew, he could be that Colonel guy from Kentucky trying to get his recipe back. I didn't even know that control of the world through fried chicken was even a thing. But I couldn't admit that to Monica. But I guess that made about as much sense as anything else in this case. So I figured the only thing I could do at this point was just go along, play it out, see if the loose pieces started coming together. Hopefully Khabib, a doctor who at some point that I couldn't remember became my go-to guy for burglary, I'd hoped that he would come up with something at Monica's apartment.
Oh, no. Brick, this is all wrong. This is terrible. You killed the wrong man.
Well, sweetheart, I didn't know there was a right man to kill, even if it was over a fried chicken recipe that could control the world.
You've got to get to that body and search it for that microfilm. I don't know how, but some way you've got to get to him and see if he has that microfilm on him.
Oh, sure. I'll just drop by the morgue and tell them I'm a friend from out of town just visiting and wanted them to sew him back up for a while so I could visit, you know. Then what am I looking for? A micro photo album? Who's there?
Al!
Al who?
I'll knock the store down and kick your butt if you don't open it right now.
Well, we can't have that now, can we? Hey, hello.
Oh, no.
I gotta hand it to you, pal. That's a good one. I've never participated in a real live knock-knock joke before.
Yeah, that was a good opportunity. I could be wrong, but I don't think a knock-knock joke has ever been presented in this way. It'll be a great story to tell my grandkids. Now step back and shut up.
Hey, calm down, pal. Put that gun away.
Shut up, or I'm going to put this gun where the sun don't shine.
Well, that's kind of hard to do in Florida. This is a sunshine state, you know. Well, unless it's during a hurricane season like it is right now, so...
Shut up, or I'm going to introduce you to Roscoe here.
Your gun's name is Roscoe? Hey, mine has two names, Smith and Wesson. And I wish one of them was with me right now.
I said shut up!
Oh, okay, calm down. I'll just be right over there if you need me.
Hello, Monica. Hey,
It's
a great picture of you out in the lobby. It'll make a real great memorial photo.
Tony!
Tony? I thought you said your name was Al. Well, I guess there's no good knock-knock jokes for Tony.
Shut up!
Yes, sir.
Tony, wait a minute. I can't explain.
Just shut up. You're coming with me.
Wait, Tony, let me explain.
I said let's go. Now.
Tony, I don't know what happened. I didn't mean for this to happen.
I know exactly what you meant to happen. You wanted the fried chicken recipe all for yourself.
Tony.
If anybody's going to control the world,
Tony.
It's going to be me. Now, your boyfriend there is coming too. Let's go.
Me? Oh, hey, I don't even like fried chicken, and the world's better off without me controlling it, believe me. And I'm a strict vegetarian, you know. But I do force myself to eat steak twice a day. But never chicken. And I was just there for an autograph from this lovely singer lady here. And
Jeez Louise, don't you ever shut up? On second thought, you ain't coming with
Brick,
us.
don't let him take me.
Sorry, Toots, I don't know you that well, but you sing real nice. Oh, gosh, look at the time. Hey, I have a blood test I have to study for, so I should be just going along.
You ain't going nowhere, pal.
Oh. I took a smack to the back of my head from Al, Tony, or whoever it was. But it didn't seem to hurt much because my head was already pounding inside like a trip hammer inside of an empty oil barrel. Now, I'm not saying my head is as empty as an empty oil barrel. That's not an accurate comparison. But, well, I'm saying that like there was a pounding going on inside my head that was like very loud, painful, and annoying, like in empty space. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Never mind. Like Monica said, brevity. I had a hell of a headache. How's that? That went away momentarily as the things began to fade out. As I faded out, I could hear voices, distant voices, and I could hear my name being called. I was thinking, could this be it? Voices calling me to heaven, or more likely hell. But for the moment, or forever, everything went comfortably black and silent.
It's rich in chocolate tea. Chocolate flavored Basco is mighty good for me. Mama puts it in my milk for extra energy. Basco gives me iron and sunshine vitamin D. Oh, I love Basco. That's the drink for me.
Most people don't realize that a private detective spends a lot of his time getting hit on the head by bricks falling from scaffolds when you're chasing a feral cat, or by a guy whose wife hires you to uncover his dalliances, or even by a thug you randomly run across in the course of your daily routine and he doesn't like the way you parted your hair that morning. I've been slugged more times than I can even remember. This time, I'd been KO'd by some mystery man trying to take over the world with a fried chicken recipe. None of it made sense. Who is Tony Goomba? The name seemed very familiar, like I should have known who he was, other than just some guy I was hired to scare off. And who is Al? Monica called him Tony. Was he actually the real Tony Goomba? And for Pete's sake, was this really all about a fried chicken recipe that would allow a person to control the world? My brain was like a hole without a donut to give it purpose. I kept hearing voices talking about me or calling my name. I thought, maybe I'm dead. Maybe I'm dead. Maybe I'm dead. Maybe I'm dead.
Rick! Hey!
Maybe I'm dead.
Rick, you ain't dead.
Who's there?
Rick!
I can't see you very clearly. My eyes are all blurry. My head hurts. Oh.
Hey, nurse, he's coming around. Hey, Rick. Hey, man, we all been worried about you.
Mr. Benson. Mr. Benson?
Yes?
Can you see me?
Oh, my head feels numb on top. You know, like when you bite your tongue, but it isn't yours. Monica, is it you?
Why, yes it is. How did you know my name is Monica? I am your nurse. You've been unconscious and in a coma the whole time you've been here. Or at least I thought you were. That numbness you feel is from your surgery. Here, let me help you sit up a bit.
I feel kind of weak.
Now take these pills. They should ease that pain and make you sleep. You need the rest. Alright. There you go. Now lay back down. You've had a very close call.
Man, I feel like the proverbial roll of toilet paper that was used to wipe up fish guts and then dried in an oven.
Mr. Benson, there is no such proverb.
Right, that's you, Monica. I forgot you were a proverbologist.
Mr. Benson, just relax. Your friend Mr. Goomba is here.
What? What do you mean, my friend?
You should start feeling drowsy in a few minutes.
Rick, man, you've been out of it for 3 days. I've been sitting here with you every chance I get. Everybody at the department's really concerned. Boy, that tornado really did a number when it hit you. The doctor said you came close to dying.
Wait a minute. You're Tony Goomba? You're my You're my friend. Hey, man, what's going on?
Yeah, it's me, Tony.
You've been sitting with me?
Yeah.
What storm? What happened?
I've been sitting here with you doing crossword puzzles, waiting for you to wake up ever since they brought you into Lee Memorial Hospital. Don't you remember? Tropical Storm Elise kicked up that tornado that hit us while we were in the warehouse, investigating the burglary and theft of expensive camera stuff and a bunch of special film.
Hold on a second. You and I were investigating?
Yeah.
We were investigating it?
Yeah.
I thought you were dead. Why aren't you dead?
Dad, no, I ain't dead, you jamook. You're the one who took the brunt of it. I was in the back office area when it all went down.
Yeah, I know. I shot you back there.
You shot me?
Yeah, with the unloaded gun.
What the heck are you talking about, Rick? Nurse, he ain't making no sense at all. He acts like he don't even know me. He thinks he shot me.
Detective Goomba, confusion and temporary amnesia aren't unusual after a serious head injury. Usually they...
Detective Goomba? What the... Oh, my head. I feel dizzy.
Detective Benson, please try to calm down and relax. You had serious brain surgery, so you need to keep calm and lay still. Lift your arm a bit. I need to take your blood pressure. Then I'll go tell the doctor you came out of your coma. He wanted to know the minute you regained consciousness.
Brain surgery? And in a coma? Hey, Monica, what are you, a singer and a nurse?
No, I don't sing.
What happened with you and Al? Or Tony? Or whoever that was. I thought he was going to kill you for sure.
Kill me? Nobody's trying to kill me. No, I don't sing. Well, not professionally anymore anyway. My father wanted me to be a professional singer, but I decided I wanted to actually earn a living, so I went to nursing school. You're understandably confused and your memory is a bit affected, Mr. Benson.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But that's not unusual after serious brain surgeries.
Oh, great.
Did you know there was a piece of a brick in your skull lodged up against your limbic system from a previous injury? Dr. Hadari removed a piece of that piece.
Dr. Hadari did this surgery too?
Yes, Dr. Hadari performed your surgery. He saved your life.
Yeah, there was a full brick in there the first time. Dr. Hadari removed most of it. He saved my life back then too. I told you all about that at my apartment, didn't I?
No, you didn't. Detective Benson, I was never at your apartment before.
Really?
When your head was injured this time, it broke the remaining piece of brick in two. The doctor was able to remove one of those pieces. He said if you survive this surgery, your limbic system should be better than before.
Oh, great.
And he said if you are fortunate enough to survive another serious brain injury, he might even be able to remove the rest of the brick. Now try to sleep.
Look, sweetheart, I keep telling you, just call me Brick, will you? Same as always. You don't have to be so formal.
Mr. Benson, I've never met you before this surgery. I would certainly remember if I did. And you have never asked me to call you Brick before. But alright. Brick. I really like that name. It's so...
strong and masterful.
Yes.
Mighty, forceful, and robust.
Yes. Exactly.
It never gets old.
You must tell me how you got that name.
It's a pretty long story, Toots. I'll just replay episode 1 for you.
What?
Sorry. Sorry about that, Snookums. I just broke the fourth wall there. Don't worry. The audience will get it. Monica, do you do this job part-time in addition to singing at the Cat's Meow nightclub? You never told me you were a nurse. I thought you were just a singer.
I can assure you I've never met you before. Detective Benson. I mean Brig. I don't sing at the Cats. Never mind. You're just still a bit disoriented. Just try to get some sleep. Detective Goomba, are you going to stay here with your partner?
What? Really? He's my partner? Oh, man. I'm as confused as a hammer looking for a nail in a box of soda straws. My head's spinning like 3 old ladies on a greased inner tube.
Your metaphors and similes are rather strange and incoherent, Brick.
None of his metaphors or similes ever make any sense, Nurse. But strangely, this one did to me. I guess it's because I actually saw 3 old ladies spitting on a greased inner tube once. Of course, I was drunk and there was a lot of...
This time, I'm reasonably certain it's the medication. Well, I'm off work in 15 minutes. Britt, I'll see you tomorrow. I hope. Unless you die of some complication.
What?
I'm just kidding. That's just nurse humor.
Well, you're a regular Lucille Ball, ain't you?
Don't worry. You'll be fine. Unless there's a brain infection, of course.
Serious?
Oh yes. Brain infections are very serious, Brick. I'll see you tomorrow for sure, Detective Goomba.
Yeah, thanks, Nurse. I'll stay here and do my crossword puzzles. I won't let him leave unless he dies.
I believe you have a very good friend and partner in Mr. Goomba.
I do, huh? Wait, Monica?
Hey, Brick, you're good at words and numbers.
I am.
Sure you are. Hey, look, I was stuck on this crossword puzzle word right before you woke up. What is a 9-letter word for a chart showing the departure and arrival times of trains, buses, or planes?
Timetable. 9 letters.
Timetable is 2 words, Brick.
No, it ain't. Oh, Lord, this is deja vu except in reverse. I hope it doesn't end in another shootout. It's 1 word, Goomba.
It's 2 words.
I'm telling you, it's 1 word.
It's 2 words. Time and table.
It's 1 word, Goomba. It's called a compound word.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm very sure. Yeah, look, this is all making me really sleepy.
Hey, Brick.
Those pills are taking effect, Goomba. I gotta...
Brick. Hey, Brick. Oh, well, he fell asleep. Let's see. TIMETABLE. Well, what do you know? It fits.
I fell asleep thinking I might have to shoot Tony Goomba again. But this time I didn't even have an empty gun. I thought I might be delirious or dreaming or just plain crazy. They were saying I had brain surgery and that Tony Goomba is my partner and my friend. Well, that would explain Tony being alive. And Monica's alive too, and she's a nurse, not a lounge singer. Well, this sure ain't Kansas anymore. In my sleep, my memory began to clear a little. I remember being sent somewhere by somebody to investigate something, and Tony explained that. I remembered a storm was brewing, and being in a warehouse, a loud crash, and a cat screaming. Oh, God, I hate cats. Ever since that great feral cat chase in my early career that led to my first brain surgery. Every time there's me and a cat, something bad happens. To me. Anyhow, I faded away into an uneasy but painless sleep thanks to Monica and her magic pills. Things were gradually coming into focus, beginning to make sense. And then I heard a knock on the door. Who's there? You're a poo. No, you're a poo. Hi, I'm Officer Al Brown from the police department. I thought I'd stop in to see you and cheer you up with a good knock-knock joke or two. They're my specialty. Al. Oh, sorry, Officer. Al, is it? Yeah. My head's still a little foggy. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, that was a good knock-knock joke. Thanks. I never participated in a real live knock-knock joke before. Wait a minute. Yes, I have. In my dream. Your dream? So you're Al? Yeah. Hey, you're not here for a microfilm or to kidnap Monica by any chance, are you? Huh? Microfilm? Kidnap? Who's Monica? Never mind. You're an officer. Oh, you work in the forensics lab. Yeah. Now I remember you. Are you gonna arrest me again? I didn't kill Tony Goomba, I keep telling you. What? Detective Goomba is dead? Oh, God, I didn't know that. I don't think he did either. I just saw him down by the coffee machine. When he was alive, he really liked my knock-knock jokes. I just drove Chief O'Malley down from the apartment. He'll be right in. He stopped off at the bathroom. Too much espresso for breakfast, I guess. He wants to talk to you. While I was waiting in the car, I figured that I'd just come in and take the opportunity to say that I hope you're feeling better and brighten your day with a couple of my knock-knock jokes. I'm doing my first comedy show for the amateur night down at Looney Louie's Comedy Club tonight. Knock knock.
And you're supposed to say who's there, Detective Benson. It's another knock-knock joke.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, yeah. Who is there? I-O. Okay, I-O who? Me. So when are you gonna pay me back? Yeah, that's very funny, Al, but yeah, look, I'm kind of groggy and I think I need to go.
How about this one? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Brick, estoy tan feliz de que no estés muerto.
Chief O'Malley?
Brick, my friend, I am so happy to see you looking, well, kind of alive.
Thanks.
Al, I thought I told you to stay in the car.
It's okay.
Oh, no, I don't want him in here. You go back to the car right now.
Chief, I was just trying to give him
No, I don't want him in here.
Chief, it's okay, really. I think he was just trying to...
No, I don't want him in here. You go wait in the car, Brown, and don't try out any more of your stupid knock-knock jokes on me when I come out. You are driving me crazy with these stupid knock-knock jokes.
Okay. See you, Brick.
See you, Al. Oh, break a leg at the comedy club tonight.
Yeah, with my luck, I probably will.
Brick, my good friend, except for all of the bandages on your head and all the wires and the tubes there, you look great.
O'Malley, what's going on here? What do you mean I'm your good friend? What are you doing here?
What?
Look, are you going to arrest me again?
Arrest
the
you?
bullet's still not going to match that gun, Chief. No. Wait a minute. Tony's alive.
Of course he's
Well,
alive.
that should put a great big hole in your case against me, Chief.
Whoa, hey, slow down, Brick. You're talking crazy. What case against you? What are you talking about? Of course Tony's not dead. Well, he's a little lazy sometimes, but definitely not dead. I just saw Tony in the hall. He was going for coffee. I just stopped by him because they called me and told me you were conscious. All the guys and gals at the department have been very worried about you, Brick. Here, look. They sent you your favorite drink, a six-pack of Fanta Cola, and this nice card with a big shiny ace on it for the department's ace detective.
Chief, hold on a second. Everything in my head is mixed up and just wrong. Like when you mix your Wheaties with Brunchwagen and soy sauce. Didn't you fire me for taking your beach house keys from your desk drawer and, as you called it, stealing your house when you were supposed to be in Hawaii with your white puppy?
What?
And haven't you been trying to arrest me for killing Tony?
Killing Tony?
With an unloaded gun?
What?
And haven't I been working as a private detective by the shrimp docks in Fort Myers Beach and good Lord, Chief, you look great. You lost a ton of weight and you packed on a lot of muscle.
Oh, Brick, you're talking crazy, man. What is wrong with you? That shelving that fell on your head when the tornado hit the warehouse really scrambled your eggs. The only thing that got killed was a feral cat that was under the shelves when they fell. And you never broke into my beach house.
The cat got smushed, huh? Well, at least one good thing came out of all this, then.
Brick, Buffy and I don't leave on vacation for 2 weeks. And we are hoping you're going to be able to house sit at the beach house just like you always do. And Brick, you are my #1 detective at the department and my good friend. I wouldn't fire you, even if you did kill Tony with a loaded gun. You need to rest, my friend. Remember, we have that Fort Myers Beach marathon to run next month. Gotta get you back into the gym, too. I miss my workout partner.
Oh, wow, Chief. All this must have been a nightmare while I was unconscious. Thank heaven, but it seemed too real. You were you, but not my friend, and you were really fat.
Fat? I've never been fat.
Yeah, I know. It was all very strange, believe me. Yeah, you're fat and flabby, and you hated me, and you're always trying to arrest me for something, all because of the dream stealing your house thing and walking in on you and Buffy while you over.
Oh yes. I remember. I remember that was very funny.
Oh, yeah.
And you were so embarrassed, Brick.
Yeah, that was real funny. Now I remember. Yeah, you were wearing Buffy's nightgown, and she was all...
Yes, Brick. That was very funny. Now just go on with your nightmare story.
About you and Buffy? Well, she and you were both...
No. About your nightmare story when you were almost dead.
Oh, yeah. Well, Okay. Tony was in the dream too, but he wasn't the Tony we know. He was some kind of criminal who was trying to steal a fried chicken recipe that belonged to some colonel guy from Kentucky, and it was on some microfilm that would allow anyone who had it to control the world. And I accidentally shot and killed the Nightmare Tony with an unloaded gun during an argument we got into at the warehouse over the words and numbers of words. And my nurse, Monica Charday, she was in the dream too. She hired me to scare Nightmare Tony into leaving town. She gave me an empty gun and then loaded a blanket, and when I got my coat from the closet, and that all led to me murdering Nightmare Tony with the empty gun that had a blank in it.
Oh, Chihuahua. Rick, that dream makes a lot of sense. I can understand how you thought it was real. Well, except for everything you just said.
Yeah, I know it sounds stupid and very crazy. Now that I've come out of my coma, my head is beginning to clear. It was so stupid that I should have been able to figure it out while I was even still in the coma. I am, after all, Brick Benson, ace detective.
Well, Brick, you do sound a little bit crazy, but we know that kind of thing does happen when you get hit on the head by a tornado. Judy Garland proved that in The Wizard of Oz. She was knocked silly by a tornado too, and everybody she knew was in that dream. It's a good thing neither of you know a lot of people, or both of your stories would take forever.
Yeah, like this episode.
Well, we can all be thankful for that. I have to go now, Brick. There's still a lot of cleanup to oversee at the department after the storm. Adios, my friend. Get well quick.
Yeah, adios. Well, I drifted off again. This time the headache was gone and my mind was clearing. I was remembering where I was and who I was and who my dream characters were in real life. As in The Wizard of Oz, my friends and acquaintances had assumed the roles of nonsensical characters on stage in my bizarre, dark dream. Even Monica, who I never met but must have heard while I was unconscious, imprinted her name and lovely voice on my beautiful dream femme fatale. When I awoke to her asking if I could see her, I recognized her voice, but only connected it to what she really looked like when my eyes were cleared. And she was even more of a knockout than my dream Monica. It's funny how dreams work. Sometimes people you know assume roles that have some connection to reality but are directly opposite to the real life role or some outlandish version of it. In my dream, I had become the hero of the classic radio, the finder of facts, a man of danger, trudging through the mean streets, just like Pat Novak, Johnny Dollar, or Philip Marlowe. My reverie was broken by another knock-knock on the door. Yeah, come on in.
Oh my golly gosh, my old friend and favorite patient, Brick Benson.
Dr. Hadari, good to see you, my friend.
I am standing here beside myself with joy to see you are awake and not dead and looking great except for all the bandages I put on your head and all the wires and tubes sticking in and coming out of you.
Yeah, this was never what I imagined getting hooked up would be like.
Well, I am so glad to see you are still alive. Now I can say the surgery went well. You know, waking up after brain surgery is a very major sign of improvement, Rick. I would not have been so optimistic if you had died.
Yeah, that would have kind of thrown some cold water on the deal.
But thankfully I replaced your skull with the titanium plating. That and your abnormally small brain allowed you to go through the surgery.
What?
I must warn you, one more severe head injury could kill you.
Well, I will try to avoid the third episode of brain injury, Khabib. But I'll call if I have another. You're amazing.
Oh, well, thank you, Brick, but I am not that amazing. My specialty is removing skin tags, plantar boards, and fixing ingrown toenails and that sort of thing. I would never do brain surgery on a person with a normal-sized brain.
What? What do you mean, normal-sized brain?
Well, Brick, luckily your brain is so small that there is plenty of room for me to dig around and move things without doing too much collateral damage.
Yeah, real lucky, I guess. So, Khabib, tell me something. Just to make sure I have everything straight in my mind, do you by any chance own a bar named the Oasis and have a bartender with a bad cough named Harry?
Oh, Brick, That is very funny that you asked me that. Why, we were examining you a couple days ago. Nurse Roday and I were talking about me buying the Oasis bar on Cleveland Avenue, just a few doors out from the hospital. I met a very smart young businessman named Harry who was interested in being my partner at the bar. You must have been able to hear Nurse Roday and I while you were in a coma. That is amazing.
Okay, all right. And Harry's 83 years old, right? With a girlfriend who is 24?
Oh, no. Harry does not have a girlfriend. Harry's a 33-year-old business investor and part-time fitness instructor. Harry came into this room yesterday to talk to me about the business, but he had a very bad cough and I told him we should meet at the bar. It is Harry's mother who is 83 years old and Harry is her personal trainer.
Really?
I think Harry is a very good son. He wants to take care of his mother, keep her healthy. He trains her very hard every day.
Oh, yeah. Either that or he wants to kill her and inherit all her money.
Oh, maybe. Like I told you, he's a very smart businessman.
Shrewd, maybe.
Rick, I can tell you are improving by the minute. You are starting to think like a detective again. Rick, if Harry's mother dies suspiciously, can you wait until the bar deal goes through before you investigate?
Sure, Khabib. I got your back. Oh, one last thing. I didn't by any chance ask you to break into Nurse Charday's house and look in her drawers, did I?
Break into Nurse Charday's house and look into her drawers, you say?
Yeah.
Rick, I like you a lot, but you are a very strange man.
You've said that before, yeah.
No, I am happy to say you did not ask me to break into Nurse Charday's house or to look in her drawers.
Oh, thank God. But what?
It does sound like fun.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I have to go now and continue my rounds. I am very happy to see you are doing so well.
Yeah, thanks, Khabib.
Please tell your friends.
Will do.
Word of mouth is one of the best forms of advertisement, you know.
That's what they say.
I will see you later, my friend.
Yeah, see you, Khabib. Thanks a lot, my friend. Well, that about wrapped it up for my strange nightmare adventure. I turned on the radio and listened to my mentor in music, Jack Benny, hoping he'd be playing a little violin music to put me to sleep.
The Jack Benny program with his...
I was feeling good after seeing all my friends and acquaintances from my dream and that they were back to their normal but annoying selves. And I was beginning to feel like my old self again. Yeah, I was ready to get back into the action. This time as Brick Benson, ace detective for my actual police department. As I was beginning to drift off to sleep, I was thinking about Monica. She was the one person in my dreams who I didn't know from real life. And I thought maybe tomorrow, when she comes back on duty, I could convince her to go with me someplace and have a Fanta Cola or something when I got out of the hospital. Then there was another knock on the door. I thought, now who could this be? The Colonel with a chicken recipe, maybe? He's the only character in the dream puzzle I never actually saw or heard in real life.
Brick.
Well, hello.
I hope you don't mind my coming in without a warning.
Well, of course not. I was just thinking about you. I thought you were off duty until tomorrow. Couldn't stay away from me, huh?
No. I couldn't. Brooke, I've heard people talk about you. They say that you are a very good detective and... I was just wondering if...
Well, I'm a very modest guy, sweetheart. I don't like to brag about myself. But yeah, I'm a real good detective. That's why they call me the ace detective. Why, Toots?
I was just wondering, do you ever do any jobs for people? Jobs outside your work for the police department, that is?
Well, yeah. I do pick up a little side work on occasion. What's on your pretty little mind, Toots?
When you get out of the hospital in a couple of days, I'll give you $300 for you to do something for me. It will only take an hour or so.
I don't think I like the direction this is going, sweetheart. It sounds uncomfortably familiar.
Brooke, I want you...
So far, so good.
...to frighten someone for me.
Oh, no. No. Not again. Hi, this is Lou Phillips. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the LCZ Broadcasting System's The Adventures of Brick Benson, Ace Detective. Tony Goomba, Get Out of Town, starring Lou Phillips and Casey Phillips. I hope you'll tune in again for new Brick Benson adventures and other whimsical stories and videos starring Lou Phillips, also known as Lou Cubic Zirconia, and his guest star. See you next time.
The Adventures of Brick Benson Ace Detective is an LCZ, Lou Cubic Zirconia production of the Tony Goomba Get Out of Town, starring Lou Phillips, and features Casey Phillips as Monica Charday. All characters, other than Monica Charday, are played by Lou Phillips, also known as Lou Cubic Zirconia. Tony Goomba Get Out of Town is a parody, loosely based on Jack Webb and Richard L. Green's first Pat Novak for Hire radio broadcast, Go Away Dixie Gillian, which first aired on November 24, 1946.